Despite everything that happened, the team was making so much fun of James, and James nearly killing them in the monstrous rampage. James no longer felt any doubt in him. How could he? Richard was never one to lie to his friends, and besides, the look on his face and the tone of his voice said it all. Without a word, James, considering his size, put 2 large fingers from his other hand around Richard and Christy and hugged them close. Richard and Christy hugged James's face by clutching his cheeks tightly. As James let go of Richard and Christy and they looked at him, his face softened considerably. For a moment they could see a shadow of the real James, and could have sworn his eyes had stopped glowing. "Oh, Richie, why can't things be the way they were before?" Richard smiled and hugged his cheek again, while Christy kissed him on the other cheek. Unknown to them, Carly had regained consciousness and was struggling to stand, but when she saw this touching moment, despite everything that just happened, she couldn't help but smile. Suddenly, Pedro's head perked up and his ears picked up something. Listening intently, he turned towards the direction of the sound. Seeing what was coming, his eyes widened in horror, and he gasped, "Everybody, look!" The entire team turned and looked. In the distance, but coming closer, was Henderson, flanked by several machine tanks. It didn't take long for James to realize what was going on. "General Henderson. He promised us he would let us handle James ourselves," Carly said angrily. "She's awake," said Gary to the others. "I knew it," said Joey, staring at the machine tanks. "He's gonna kill us all." "Not while I'm around." Everybody turned and saw James lowering his hand to let Richard and Christy go back down. Then he stood up and glared ahead at the machine tanks coming towards them. Once more his eyes were glowing red. "Leave Henderson to me." "Are you insane?" Frank cried. "He's got an army of machine tanks. If you go up against him, he'll kill you first chance he gets." "Not if I can help it," said James courageously. "It may be hard to believe, but my skin and muscles are so thick in this form that I'm practically impervious to any blast from those machine tanks." "You'll stop at nothing, won't you?" Frank asked, resigned. "I'm probably about as stubborn as you and Carly every time you two fight," James said, winking at Frank. Though they knew this was a risky feat, everybody knew James wasn't going to change his mind. He was too loyal and noble to let it to his friends to back down. "Jimmy, wait!" James looked down and saw Carly, having fully regained consciousness, standing at his feet, making gestures with her hands. It seemed she had to say something and was motioning for him to pick her up, because James lowered his hand and lifted Carly up to his face. Slowly and carefully, Carly climbed over to James's ear. "Go get him, Tiger." James then looked at Carly, who smiled proudly at him and nodded. Though he didn't know it, James was relieved Carly was all right. He smiled back at her and lowered her to the ground. Then, with his game face on, James turned to face the general and machine tanks. To be continued.